everyone, and welcome to our podcast series Sci-RO Tales, an avenue of Sci-RO to feature STEM professionals from India to share their story with our members. I am Sonam Pandey, a research development officer at Center for Stem Cell, a unit of INSTEM Bangalore at Christian Medical College campus, Vellore, Tamil Nadu in India, and an active member of the current Sci-RO leadership team. Today, I will be hosting the second episode of Stories in the Sci-RO Tales for the year 2024. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Kripa V Jalapathy, who is the founder, director, and CEO of Adjukines Applied Solutions Private Limited, a boutique company that helps scientists in their lab to market journey. Her consultation begins at the stage of idea inception, building product differentiation, carving out niche IP space to lifecycle management. Dr. Kripa comes with a strong academic background combined with the extensive R&D and IP experience of more than 20 years. Dr. Kripa received her PhD from Albert Einstein College of Medicine, New York, USA, following which she had a stint as a post-doctoral researcher at Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. She then went on to pursue IP law from National University of Singapore while undergoing the patent attorney training at the UK-based firm Marks and Clerk, Singapore. Kripa also completed her LLB honors in India. Given her background in complete research and in-depth knowledge in biological sciences coupled with the patent expertise, she consults so many academic institutes and the biotech startup to formulate a strategy on the translating basic science discovery into products. While a passion to teach, Dr. Kripa has been a visiting faculty at Bangalore University, Institute of Bioinformatics and Applied Biosciences, and the Indian Institute of Sciences. So, welcome, Dr. Kripa, in our this podcast series, Sci-RO Tales.
Thank you, Dr. Sonam. Pleasure to be here.
Dr. Kripa, we are so honored to have you as a guest on our podcast series. While there are so many things we want to get your insight on, I would like to get a start with knowing a little bit about your career trajectory. You started as a researcher in biological or life sciences, and now you are currently leading the Adjukines Applied Solutions Private Limited as the CEO. Can you please walk us through your journey?
Sure, Dr. Sonam. Thank you so much again for inviting me to this podcast. I too am honored to be here and happy to share my thoughts with the Sci-ROI community. To talk about my journey, so my journey is marked with some significant moments and some decisions that actually propelled me from being a researcher to my current role in Adjukines. So basically, during my PhD, I worked on novel tuberculosis vaccines. And that is when I wondered what it would take to bring such innovations to the real world. So it was this curiosity actually that inspired me to look beyond scientific research. And I began to appreciate the importance of understanding not just the science behind the breakthroughs, but also all the pathways, the intricate methods involved in technology transfer and eventually commercialization. This was what actually encouraged me to explore this nexus between science and business, which ultimately shaped my career trajectory in, I should say, unforeseen ways. So in a nutshell, that was my trajectory.
So, in continuation of this conversation, what according to you are pivotal moments that lead you where you are today?
So after completing my PhD at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, New York, I relocated to Singapore, and that was when I started my postdoctoral fellowship at the Nanyang Technological University. So it was actually during this time that I happened to attend a talk on patents, which was hosted by the university's technology transfer office. Now, this somehow sparked my interest in exploring patent law as a potential career path. And at the same time, I also did some volunteer work with the tech transfer office for a brief period. So during this time, I learned that the scientific standards for peer review and patenting were different, and that two writing tasks, a scientific paper and a patent application, they required very different approaches. Yet, what I realized while I was doing this work at the TTO was that the analytical skills that I gained from my scientific training, they were actually directly applicable here. So, if I were to actually look back on a pivotal or a significant moment in my journey, it was my decision to transition from this familiar area of research that I had been in for many years to the new field of IP law. And this was when I joined the very top IP law firm in Singapore. And of course, at that time, I did not know that most attorneys working in the biotechnology patent law, they have science PhDs, and actually many of them have very impressive postdoctoral experience also. Then going on, when I was training as a patent attorney at Marks and Clerk, it provided me with this opportunity where I could actually blend my scientific knowledge with creativity. And alongside, as when you introduced me, I had also pursued a degree in IP law at the National University of Singapore. Now, this navigating this new field that I was in now, the IP field, and juggling a demanding course was occasionally draining for me. But what kept my interest alive was this dynamic nature of this profession, the patent field. So the developments in bioscience, they occur really very frequently, very often, making the work very interesting and unpredictable. So this is one thing that truly distinguishes the patent field from other professions. So each day it brings forth something novel, intriguing, whether it is a new invention or it's a continuous learning or uncharted or somehow navigating through the uncharted territories to address unique challenges. So basically, one can say that patent landscape is a melting pot of innovation and growth. And what's most interesting is that I always tell people that patent attorneys are exposed to many new discoveries well before they are even available in the public. So this provides a very rare glimpse into our future. So although initially I did miss this thrill of experiments, work, the lab experiments, really having this thrill of making it work, but the breadth of topics and the opportunity to work at the interface of science, law, business, this actually outweighed the excitement of research. So I would say, to kind of summarize, the inherent dynamism is what is exciting about this field. And this is what compels professionals like myself to push beyond the boundaries of comfort, constantly seeking new knowledge, embracing change, or expanding the horizons. And what's more, I can stay close to cutting edge science without being tied to my lab bench or to a particular project. So, yeah, these were some of the extension of my journey, if I could say.
This is very interesting journey what you said. So since Sci-RO is a gateway for the young researcher, engineers and entrepreneurs in the US to access professional opportunities across the academic and the private sector in India, could you elaborate on your professional journey and experience following your relocation to India? Maybe that will help our listeners.
Sure. Thanks, Sonam. That's a very interesting point because I traveled from US to Singapore and eventually to India. But for me, it's been really exciting. So the countries like US and Singapore, where I started kind of the patent journey, these were the countries which were which had really good patent regimes, and they had been in this area for years, and the inventors and the scientists, they were well versed with this entire area of patent field and going ahead with patenting their inventions. However, when I relocated to India in 2008, I observed that the patents, although they had begun to gain some prominence, which was largely attributed to India's compliance with TRIPS in 2005, and the product patents, it had become this buzzword of the time. So, despite this excitement surrounding this period, there was this noticeable gap within the Indian scientific community in understanding the implications of compliance with TRIPS or the amended patent law in India at that time. So it was this knowledge deficit, this presented significant challenges and hurdles for the scientists and researchers who were actually unaware of the mechanisms to effectively leverage patents for a business purpose. So Adjukines was then established basically to address this gap and with a mission to serve as adjuvants, what we would say in the vaccine field, or rather catalysts for accelerating the lab to market journey. So founding Adjukines was the culmination of my vision to create a company dedicated to assisting startups and organizations in navigating the landscape of IP, the tech transfer, the innovating management. Although these are very profound and well structured in the West and like the US, these are still in its inception in India. So since the time we started Adjukines, it's actually been a very incredibly rewarding journey working alongside our talented team and collaborating with a diverse group of scientists from academia and hospitals to growing startups. So hopefully we all together, the entire scientific community, teams like ours, we can provide this comprehensive support, ensuring that the technologies will reach the full potential in the market.
This is very interesting journey. So for listeners and including myself who may not have a strong understanding of the intellectual property, could you please provide explanation of what actually IP entails and that clarify the role of the patent agent or an IP consultant?
Sure, Sonam. So if I were to put it in a nutshell, intellectual property, as the name indicates, they refer to creations of the mind or intellect. So these range from new inventions and literally compositions to unique designs and distinctive brands, and these are all very important for a business. These kind of creations of mind are protected by law through mechanisms such as patents, copyrights, trademarks, or trade secrets, and then they become the rights. Once they are the rights, it empowers these owners of these technologies or these creations of mind to prevent others from copying their idea and work. So, patent agents and consultants, they actually play a very vital role in protecting and leveraging these IP assets to actually drive innovation or competitiveness and business success. So basically, a patent professional's role is to help client inventors and companies secure a legal protection for their innovation. Now, IP consultant is a person who can provide strategic advice and guidance on managing intellectual property assets. They assist clients in developing IP strategies which is aligned with their business objectives. They help in conducting IP audits to assess the value and the strength of the existing patent portfolio. They advise on licensing agreements, how to enforce the patents, and some other things like infringing matters. Now, a consultant can be a patent agent too. And the difference is that a patent agent is a qualified professional who is authorized to represent clients before the patent office. So their role is also more specific. They help the inventors obtain the patents for their inventions by preparing and filing patent applications. They conduct patent searches to assess the novelty of the invention and communicating with the patent examiners during the patent prosecution process. So yeah, so they're little different, but yeah, similar roles in fact.
This is very interesting area, I think, as a IP consultant or patent agent. So, with this, I just want to know if someone wants to make his or her career on this field. So, what are the qualifications required for the role of IP consultant or patent agent?
Okay, so one of the things about the patent world per se is that a degree in science is the basic minimum requirement for entering the patenting profession. So it definitely helps to have a PhD to be able to understand an invention better or to search journal articles more effectively. But I must say it's not a must. So in India, to be eligible as a patent agent and to practice before the patent office, it is also essential to pass a qualifying examination, which is conducted by the patent office. So IP consultants, on the other hand, they don't need to be patent agents, but they would require a very strong understanding of the IP law. And if they operate in the area of patents, then they have to be well versed in science or the specific area of science that they operate in. So all IP professionals, as I said, need a really strong technical knowledge and and expertise. And this is very specific to a field such as engineering, biotechnology, chemistry, computer science, or electronics, or anything, so that they can understand and effectively communicate these complex technical concepts. So also, because they need to communicate this, the excellence in writing and speaking is also very essential. So in a nutshell, these are the requirements or the qualifications or skills that is required to enter into this field.
So, diving into the further details, what are the key responsibility and the duties typically undertaken by the IP consultant or the patent agent?
So some of the key things that patent professionals routinely engage in are typically patent drafting, and this involves describing the inventions in a very clear, concise, and legally enforceable terms. They also manage the patent prosecution process, such as responding to office actions from patent examiners, appearing in interviews with the examiners, and these professionals actually advocate for the approval of the patent applications. So usually the patent professionals also work very closely with the inventors to understand the technical aspects of the inventions. So some of the other routine functions that these professionals engage in are like conducting comprehensive patent searches to assess patentability of inventions, or analyzing prior art or prior patents to identify potential obstacles for market entry, or it could be developing intellectual property strategies that is aligned with your client's business goals and objectives, or managing the patent portfolio of your client and providing strategic guidance on the portfolio development, its maintenance or optimization. So other thing is that the practice of patent law, it requires managing a demanding schedule. It's necessary to juggle several projects, each with several deadlines and with many people involved. So, because of this, failing to keep a schedule can actually have a very serious impact on the success of the client companies. So, while those are the rules, these are also some of the demands from the patent professional.
I think this area as a IP consultant or patent agent is growing in India. So with this, I just want to know, can you just please elaborate on the career aspect and the opportunity of the IP management in India currently, so then people can understand what exact scenario is going on in India.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic and a question, and that's because the over the years, the patent industry in India has grown tremendously in the last few years. So, as I said, I moved in 2008, and if I were to compare 2008 versus now, I can see that the number of patents registered have grown dramatically. So the technology sector per se is seeing a big growth, and thanks to these emerging technologies, solar, biotech, automated transportation, or be it food technology, nutraceuticals, and many more. So all these sectors are very IP intensive or patent intensive, if I were to be precise. Not only registration of a patent, copyright, and trademark, but these industries are also generating a massive amount of work related to such as licensing, assignment of IP prosecution, and as well as enforcement of IP rights globally. So now the intellectual property management presents a wide range of career opportunities in India, especially those who want to enter this field new or relocating to India. This is one field that offers tremendous opportunities. And this is due to the growing emphasis on innovation and technology transfer, and intellectual property protection has become very critical across various industries. Also, with the growth of many startups and entrepreneurial ventures in India, IP expertise is constantly required, and the IP professionals are needed to protect their innovation, help in securing funding, and gain a competitive edge in the market. So, IP managers, patent strategists, technology advisors, some of these are the titles given. They play crucial roles in helping startups navigate the IP landscape, and they help identify valuable assets and develop IP strategies that support the business growth. The other place is the universities and research organizations and the government agencies are all embracing this culture of having their own technology transfer office to be able to commercialize intellectual property generated from research activities in-house. Now, these tech transfer offices employ tech transfer professionals, licensing executives, and IP commercialization specialists to facilitate the transfer of technologies to industry partners and startups. And so the other place is the Indian Patent Office. They employ patent examiners who are basically from the science background and have a specific expertise. They employ IP administrators and policy analysts to manage patent examination processes, the IP registrations, and helping in policy initiatives. So, of course, there are IP professionals needed in corporate IP departments and law firms, and which all of us know of. So I can say that as India continues to strengthen its intellectual property ecosystem and promote innovation driven entrepreneurship, the demand for skilled IP professional is only expected to grow, creating ample opportunities for individuals interested in this dynamic and evolving field.
So in every career path have so many hurdles when you are making your career. So hope so maybe you also from your research days to being the current CEO of the Adjukine, you have a likely encountered several challenges along this journey. How did you effectively navigate through those hurdles?
Right. So, yeah, I can't say that the journey didn't have challenges. So, it has been challenging, and especially since the time I moved to India in 2008, when the research community at that time were not even aware of the potential and the power of patents. So this actually meant that constantly engaging in talking to them and educating them on the advantages of having a patent. So the the reason also being that the patent activity in itself is a cost center for any organization and thus tends to take a backseat in the initial stages. So, especially if we were to talk of a startup in its initial stages with limited funding, the the patents or intellectual property doesn't take the forefront. So, because of this, the patent professionals, including me when I moved back, we have to work at very low rates to cater to the growing startups or academia. And since the patents are very technical and area specific, it also offers other challenges, such as in understanding the technology. So sometimes a patent work may not be in an area you're familiar with. So in such a case, a supportive network of mentors. So in my experience, so this field also involves networking enough, knowing professionals with varied expertise, so that when you have work, you can go to them. So a supportive network of mentors, advisors, and team members. So these are all very crucial in navigating through the challenges that one faces. So for me, I value the collaboration and teamwork, and seeking advice and guidance from experienced professionals and leveraging their expertise has helped me overcome the hurdles effectively. And again, as in any profession, maintaining a positive mindset and staying motivated during the challenging times, as in the business world, market dynamics are constantly changing. So the other thing is that I mentioned earlier, the patent field requires managing the demanding schedules, but this fortunately was not very challenging for me because uh, coming from research, I have learned the skill. So basically, all scientists would know that as a researcher, you coordinate experiments, taking into account the availability of personnel or machines or viable reagents and so on. And because missing a time point could actually set the research back a few weeks or longer. So the requirements in patent law are similar, and thus this has not been a challenge. Although I would say some of the things were, but yeah, having said that, it's been an enjoyable journey.
Nice. I think it is very beautiful journey. Definitely, when people are transist their career in one field to another, so that time become a little bit more affordable and more beautiful. So with this, I just say your journey serve as a source of inspiration, especially as a female CEO. But what advice would you prefer to our listener within the Sci-RO community who inspired to transition from academy to career beyond?
Thank you so much, Sonam, for your kind words. So transitioning from academia to careers beyond, um, in it's a lot more easier in today's world, but it can be exciting and challenging too. But one thing I would like to say, gaining from my experience is that, um, as scientists, and if there are scientists in this forum who are looking for career change, I'd like to say that you should remember that as scientists, we develop a wide range of transferable skills during our academic journey. So, be it critical thinking, problem solving, data analytics, communication, and more. And all these can be applied to roles outside academia. So, at the beginning, during the training phase, it may feel a little like a different world, and you may feel a little underconfident amongst your peers. So, when I moved from academia to a law firm, it was a little bit daunting for me because the way we looked at publications was very different from how patent applications were. But the key is to stay resilient, persevere through the obstacles, and remain committed to your goal. And do remember that once you push beyond your boundaries of comfort, seeking new knowledge and embracing change, the journey to the peak will really be enjoyable. And remember, your unique perspective, creativity, and strength as a woman, that brings immense value to the area of IP.
Really, this conversation and your personal and professional journey as a female CEO is very inspiring me. As we end the current episode of our podcast, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of Sci-ROI community to you for your vital contribution. Your thoughts, knowledge, and the unique perspective have definitely enriched our podcast. And I am appreciating for your depth and clarity you added to our conversation. Your willingness to share your experiences and knowledge with our listener has been very inspiring, and I am confident that they will find immense value in what you have shared. Thank you once again for joining us and for being a part of this enriching conversation. Thank you, Dr. Kripa.
Thank you so much, Sonam. Thank you for having me and enjoyed your questions. Thank you again.